Welcome to Forgotten Popcorn, everybody. Today we're talking about The Witch by Robert Eggers, 2015.
Boo! There you are. Boo!
First of all, I just want to start off by saying Happy Halloween. We're a couple of days ahead, but it's coming up soon, so don't forget to go trick-or-treating and be careful in the streets.
Sure.
Yep.
And before we watched The Witch,
that's it.
The man Robert Eggers, the A24 movie. So Alex, what'd you think?
Wow. Okay. So the first time I watched it was for a class of like just watching horror films. So we watched like a bunch of different ones. The Following or It Follows. Actually, that's what it is. It Follows. What else did I watch? Aliens. I think I watched. I watched It. No, we didn't watch it, actually. We were going to. We ended up not watching it. We watched The Thing. That was really good. That was really good. That when we were talking about episodes for, Halloween-esque, scary horror type things, that was one that I was very close to recommending because I thought like, oh man, it's so good for the time and like it holds up in many ways. But I decided like we should, I talked to you guys and like I think The Witch was really like one of those that was different enough from what we've done. It has like a really unique, style to it. And like the way that he presents just historical information and tells a story of things that aren't necessarily like, truthful necessarily. These are kind of just like mythological things that we've heard. They're
based on real reports and books that they've found. But again, it takes place in like the 1500s.
Something like that, yeah.
Who knows?
It's very interesting. But yeah, the first time I watched it for the class and I enjoyed it. I thought it was really interesting. Couldn't understand anything. I definitely should have watched it with subtitles the first time. This time I kind of did, but didn't at the same time just because I already knew what was happening, so I wasn't necessarily like worried about missing anything. Right. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I loved it. It was really interesting, no doubt.
I gotta say, it's not my favorite horror movie or favorite kind of like film in the genre. It was my first time watching it for this podcast. I saw it, finished it today, but I started it a couple of days ago. I was kind of watching on and off. Maybe that's kind of plays into why I didn't enjoy it super amount, but it was definitely portrayed in a very cool way. I'm a huge fan of like history and like medieval Renaissance and like, pilgrimages and like 1500s, Roman Empire, all that stuff. And it was definitely portrayed in a very cool, fun way. Okay, not cool, fun way, but in a fun way that was different that I found compared to like other horror stories where they kind of like say, oh, this is a book that we found. It's a witch. And then they just get onto just horror and like jump scares, This was pretty good. I thought it was really well done for Robert Eggers, especially as his first feature film, I'm pretty sure. Pretty well done. Again, not my favorite horror, but definitely a very good one, which I'm very excited to talk about. Especially my favorite character, Black Phillip. He's very, very good. Very, very good.
Legend.
I love Black Phillip. Okay. Well, okay. Okay, in terms of the movie, I don't love Black Phillip, but in terms of just saying the name, I love
afterthought.
The afterthought of the movie, Black Phillip. Yeah, we'll get into it. What did you think, Will?
Oh yeah, obviously a good movie. Mm-hmm. Well done, like you've all said. But last time I saw it was like maybe 3-4 years ago. For every Halloween, I do a double feature. So that year I did like a witch feature. So I did this and I did the Blair Witch Project.
Nice.
Watched this first, and I was like, oh, that was really good. Watched Blair Witch. Just didn't compare to it at all. But now we're rewatching it. Maybe it's because I watched it at 9 a.m. Wasn't as good as I remembered it being. Maybe it's just because, again, 9 a.m., it is a slow build up to the actual reveal at the end.
Yeah, it takes a while.
It's incredibly done. No matter what I can say about the entertainment value, it's still phenomenal on like a technical level. The lighting, the camera work.
Yeah, the lighting is incredible actually for a movie that takes place in a time period where there really wasn't anything but candlelight, and to really emphasize that like deep, dark, sort of like empty. Well, not necessarily empty because you could use the forest as like it being whole in a sense, but like to film in a forest and to manipulate the camera and the lighting to actually, because there are ways to cheat it, right? And there are moments where you have to shoot in like dusk because you can't be in pitch black because you just the best cameras out there's only so much you can do. And even if you use techniques to cheat it, you guys watch what was the most recent horror film from the Get Out series, or not the series but the director?
Nope.
Yeah. So did you guys see the rig for Nope over the house?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
So they had this giant, if anybody doesn't know, they had this giant light on a crane, like huge, over the house to help set the lighting from within, and it was really interesting. So there are ways, obviously, to cheat and show off, something. You still have to show, the actual actors and everything like that, but I find like they did a pretty good job when needed, and then like there are moments in the film where it's just like you obviously don't need the lights, so they would use it really, really well. Like when we're introduced to the a witch, or I guess something like that.
Which I wasn't 100% like super onto. I didn't understand it super well. I don't know if maybe I was hoping when we came on here, like you guys, maybe if you understood it a bit different than I did. Was there multiple witch? I mean, obviously by the ending there were multiple of them, but throughout the movie, was it different witches? Because I remember at first it was like an old lady looking type person.
Yeah.
And then I guess she like bathed in the baby's blood and maybe she became like youthful again. Or was that like a different witch?
I think that's more likely. Obviously, it could be a different witch because we see them all at the end.
Right. Yeah.
But the way I interpret it is all the people at the end are people exactly like Thomason, like Anya Taylor-Joy's character, who got dragged into this by this spirit, Satan, whatever you want to say they are. That's how I interpreted it. So I think it is just one witch, like you said, captured the baby, drank the blood, bathed in it. So rejuvenated her in a way. Yeah. I think that's more likely.
Okay. Which, I mean, for a horror movie, I was expecting more gruesomeness, I guess. But like, I was expecting more creepiness, I guess. I don't know. It was like, it's crazy. It's messed up.
I remembered it being more messed up, more creepy than it actually was when I watched it. I kind of finished it and I was like, that was it? Really? Like, I remember there being something like, I don't know what the word is, but that oomph,
I think this is one of those films that you really do get that impact the first time you watch it, and only the first time. Yeah. So like you kind of go, like I remember watching that scene with the witch and the blood and the nudity, and like it was very unsettling and kind of stomach twisting. Yeah. But then I watched it again and I was like, okay, like I knew what was happening, obviously. So I don't know, Alvaro, you watched it for the first time for this episode. So did you get that, or like you said you were expecting?
Yeah, I don't know. I was hoping. I don't know. When I think of witch, I think of a witch is literally like, for me, I'm thinking of like Hansel and Gretel in the sense that like a witch is gonna come by and just completely devour, or like completely mess everything up. And especially for that period age, I'm expecting them to like go crazy as soon as there's a witch and like be like, oh my god, we gotta get out of here, we gotta run. First of all, they don't run. They don't go back to their place. But
although the mother is very
which I was not a big fan of. Catherine, I'm pretty sure was her character name. Not a big fan of her like going on like Thomason, like, yo, what are you doing? Like, you stole the cup, you sold it. I'm like, what, calm down. There's a witch out there. But I mean, I guess it kind of just goes to show that like, back in those times, any kind of thing that was seen as like magic or seen as like, oh, hey, you're doing something wrong, you're a witchery, you're sorcery.
Just being different.
Just being completely different, exactly. Was completely frowned upon, which they portrayed it pretty well in this movie. The way, because Catherine is, I guess, kind of like the normal person and throughout this kind of like time period. I would say the father is more so like the protective type, and then towards the end he kind of like lost it a little bit. But it like I said, first time watching, it was enjoyable. It was not what I was expecting, but it was fine. It was a pretty good movie.
That's a good way of looking at it. I think most of Robert Eggers' work is similar, sort of wavelengths of like, I enjoyed watching it. It was worth coming to see. Did I like get like inspired, or like not inspired, but just like, did I feel that sort of movie magic that comes with certain films that, maybe not, but like it was just worth, and I liked the time, the length of the movie, hour and a half. I find that's perfect for this type of film. But yeah, it's not your typical horror film. You know, your jump scares or I think this is really a very strong story-driven horror film rather than it being like your simple story with like obvious cliches. You know, your jump scares, your gore, your stuff like that. So
it doesn't follow the basic structure of horror.
Yeah.
You know, where like daytime nothing happens. Ooh, nighttime like 10 minutes of scary stuff.
Exactly.
Daytime it's all good.
Yeah.
You know, it's really repetitive at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, he managed to stray away, do a different path, and it works.
Yeah, it worked.
But there's something missing, and it's the same with all his movies, like you said. I agree with you.
There's always
It's like same thing with The Lighthouse. Technical level, fantastic, very well done. But there's just a little something that I found when I watched it like 2-3 years ago that was missing from the story itself. The storytelling is great, well done as well. Yeah. But the story itself, there's always that little ending, the little thing to hook us at the end, you know?
Yeah.
That's what I find is missing a lot from his movies.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe he just like kind of dives into the ending because like for The Witch, he's sort of like you start to like see everything unravel and like they, he boards up the kids into the shed there, and you know, it sort of feels like the conclusion has already been not met necessarily, but like that like upbeat of like anticipation and just like constant like your heart rate's rising and rising, and then like you hit that point and then he continues to add a little bit afterwards and you're kind of like, okay, well, like now that rush is gone in a sense. So maybe that's it. It's been a while since I watched The Northman, so I don't remember I don't even remember what the ending was, to be honest. It's been a while since I watched it. I watched it once.
Yeah, I saw it pretty recently. Actually, I rewatched it recently. I'm pretty sure the ending was the battle where he's fighting.
Oh, at the volcano there?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, okay.
The
Yes, I remember
uncle.
now.
Yes.
That's true. Yeah, I totally forgot about that. Yeah.
That's a good scene. That's a very good scene.
Yeah, I find with Robert Eggers' films, I enjoyed The Northman probably. I think the most out of all his movies. I don't know if it's because of Vinland Saga, like the anime. I don't know if you guys have heard of it or seen it.
Fantastic anime.
It's an amazing anime, and The Northman is very almost copy paste like of the story. You know, it's like father dies. Spoiler for Northman. Father dies, and kid just wants revenge on the person that killed the father. And then it's the whole journey, and then you see him like become an aggressive person, obviously in like the Northman, like Viking types, and then go through the whole ordeal, which I really, really enjoyed because, like I said, I really enjoyed medieval stuff, medieval Renaissance stuff. For this movie, he did it really well. It's really nice to see his, I guess his like first feature film of it, because I think
it is his first film. Yeah, there's something to remember as well.
That's it. Because The Northman was the first movie I saw from his.
Okay.
So like I really only started watching his movie like 2022 when it came out.
Yeah.
So I didn't even know who he was until last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Because Northman, I was up to date on his movies when I saw Northman. I had seen all his movies before.
Yeah. I only saw The Witch and then I saw The Northman. I still haven't watched Lighthouse. I plan on watching it, but I just never really got around to it. I find sometimes you just have to be a bit in the right mood to watch his work, but I do appreciate the work that he puts behind it because it's very much like Wes Anderson, where it's a unique style and a very preserved type of art that not everybody's going to do, and they seem to be the only people to take on their particular style. And Robert Eggers is able to just sort of somehow tell a story, and he refuses to do anything modern, which is fine. And because honestly, I don't really know many other directors who, you have your directors who will take on war movies and stuff like that. Yeah, okay, that's historical, but it's not the same sort of, like we're going really far back with some of these. And like I said earlier, very mythological, very like Northman is like extremely mythological. So like to be able to do that and entertain people for 2 hours is something special. It actually takes a lot more work than I think people would really give credit to him.
Of course, it's tales, it's you're basing it off of like people talking and people writing down stories and like folklore, right?
Yep.
It's that's most of his movies, what they're about. Like, like two people stuck in a lighthouse, you're gonna hear the stories of what happened there. They're gonna lose their minds, they're gonna go crazy.
Yeah.
For The Witch, it's happened in 1600s. People obviously don't recall stuff. They called somebody that did something like the thumb technique or something and called it
Yeah.
a witch.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like
True,
it's like
yeah.
it's like you it's not very accurate stuff, but he's portraying it in a very good way. Northman, same thing. It's all passed down like tales. And then next movie he's doing is Nosferatu. I don't pronounce that very well, my bad guys. But that one I'm pretty sure is like based off like the creature in Sweden. No, not Sweden.
I'm not sure where, but it is folklore once again.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
fairy tale.
Oh,
this
for sure, yeah.
creature, sure we can
That's
say,
it.
like terrorizing people. It's gonna be very similar, I think, to
I'm-
the witch,
Yeah.
That's what I'm.
but probably
thinking
just in
as well.
like a different setting, a different maybe time period. I'm not sure when exactly.
Yeah, I'm not sure when, but I'm excited to see because I mean now this is gonna be his 4th feature film. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure. So it'll be similar to The Witch, I guess, in the sense of like horror movie esque, but it'll be newer with more of his like experience on his back. So we'll see how that comes out.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited, honestly. I remember hearing that he was making a new one, like it was confirmed. I had no clue it was next year. So like, I'm pretty excited. to see what he's gonna do with this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Of course, Anya Taylor-Joy is gonna be back with him again.
Of course.
Yeah.
Been in all his movies so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Powerhouse in this one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
it was,
man.
it was
100%.
her first feature
She
film too.
was-
Her first feature
Yeah,
film.
yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, the only other, her performance is crazy. I had to look up where she's actually from.
Oh, where's
She's
she from? I
American.
didn't-
She's
Oh,
born in
what?
Miami, apparently.
No way.
But she's
She's like,
Spanish.
yeah. So
wait, she's Spanish?
Yeah.
yeah. So that's it. Like even then, that doesn't even matter because like
yeah,
this
no.
movie is so like it's incredible. Like that performance really is something special. Like definitely one that catches your eye immediately. And then I mean we obviously can't forget about Ralph Ineson, who's
Yeah.
Yep.
unbelievable. Honestly, between the two of them, like they're both equal. Honestly, both their performances are like incredible. Even like I'll give credit to the younger actors too. The kids were good in it too. I mean, like, but Robert Eggers uses them perfectly. He knows
Yeah.
like their range. He knows their ability, and he doesn't need them to be top notch. So he accepts that they're not going to be the best in the room, right? But yeah, like the acting is just top notch. I mean, again, their accents are so thick that I like really just sometimes
Need
can't understand
subtitles.
anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because my God, but well done. Because is Ralph Ineson, he's British, right? Am I wrong in saying that?
He's British or he's either.
It sounds British.
Yeah, he's from Leeds, UK.
There
Okay.
you go.
Yeah. There you go.
So it's performing an accent like that from like the 1500s.
Yeah.
American, like well,
That's
not American, but yeah,
Yeah.
man.
it's
Yeah.
really tough.
Yeah.
I found we don't give enough credit to Kate Dickie, like the mom. Like
Oh,
Catherine.
yeah.
Yeah.
She's
like
Maybe it's because I hated her character. Like you
yeah,
mentioned.
I
Oh,
didn't
yeah,
like her
for sure.
character
Yeah.
at all. Like
It's-
she's completely bad. But well, no, okay, now the character was not bad, but I always mess this up. But it's like what she does in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't like.
No, exactly.
Yeah,
You're
like-
meant to hate her.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Like you can't hate the person for the role they're playing. Obviously.
no.
Yeah, no,
If
of course
anything,
not.
you admire it more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, for making you want to hate that. But I found she did really good and got me really to like be annoyed and frustrated with her. I thought her performance was probably a bit better than Ralph's, I would say. In my performance.
Yeah, that's fair.
Performance. My ideas, I guess. I don't know. I just especially like her crying scenes were very
Yeah.
like powerful. I found.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And they were really good, especially when she was praying too. Whenever she was praying and she
Yeah.
was like screaming out and like she seemed really like in pain or like in like, oh my God, my kids just like died and like my kid just got taken by a witch or a wolf or like
Yeah.
I don't know what it is and like she was good. I found. I don't know.
Yeah. It's an incredible achievement to control your voice because I mean like we talked about it previously on another episode about how like it's cliche to give actors like praise when they use like they're screaming or they're crying and
The
it's
high
like,
emotion scenes.
the high emotion scenes, right? That's like where everyone's like that's Oscar worthy, but like to an extent like I said previously I agree that like it's sometimes overused, but it has to be used correctly. And in this film, like it's used perfectly, and she does an amazing job just being able to convey like that much emotion.
Catherine, the character, has gone through a lot in the.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know what time frame the period is in. Like how long it. Like the duration is like a week? Is it like 2 weeks?
I'm not
I think
even
it's
sure.
more.
My
I think
God.
it's longer than that because
It
we
is quite a
see
while.
them leave at the beginning of the movie from like their homestead. I guess.
Right, right.
Sure,
yeah.
that takes a bit of time.
Yeah,
to
and then they
travel,
grow
yeah.
crops and they grow everything. So they must
But
have
then
been
like since like from the disappearing
Okay.
of the first kid
Oh,
to everything going to hell.
what, like a day or something?
Like it's not a short, it's not a long period.
No, it can't be.
It's
It's a
for
lot
sure
of
longer than a
Because
day.
it follows like day night sort
Yeah,
of,
there's a
so you
few
can kind
day-night
of
cycles that
see.
we see.
Yeah.
There's like what the son leaves to go and get food or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
He leaves on horseback, and then that's when like part of it starts to unravel,
Yeah.
and there that goes to night, I think. So that's like a whole
Yes.
day right there. He leaves in the either
Very
middle
early.
of the night or very
Yeah.
early, like just before the sun rises, 4 a.m. or something. Let's say he leaves then, because Thomason comes back
Much later in the day.
much later in the day, almost
Yeah.
at when sun is down.
Yeah.
Again, like we said, lighting is very well used, so
Yeah.
to an extent, it's a little hard to tell when night officially hits. But we'll just
That's
say
true.
it was the end of the day.
Yeah.
So that's one full day right there. A lot happens in that full day. So it's hard to say.
Yeah,
Really.
I'm giving like maybe a week, like from the disappearing of the first baby to the end of it.
I would
maybe
say,
a
yeah.
week.
Yeah, maybe a
So
week.
like that's a lot of shit to go through in
Yeah.
the span of a week.
Because they talk about wanting to return, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like you don't really talk about returning to the town unless it really hasn't been that much time, right? Because
That's
if
true.
you've been there for like 6 months, it's like, okay, what's the point of returning now, right?
exactly.
So I feel like it was pretty quick because the kid like disappears, the baby disappears like immediately into the movie, and
Yeah, it was like 20
that
minutes
feels
in.
like pretty much they just set up camp and then like
Yeah.
boom, that
It's
happens.
definitely a few months after they get kicked out of the
Do
first
they get
town.
kicked out?
Well, the first
Yeah.
town, like when they're like, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
you don't want to be here anymore, fine, leave.
Oh,
Right,
okay, I didn't
yeah.
know. Like, I,
It's definitely
honestly,
like a few months after that because they have to like set up
Yeah.
the building
Right.
and everything.
Yeah,
grow crops,
it's
yeah.
not quick to set up all that during that time period.
True,
But
back
Yeah.
then especially.
yeah, like could you imagine having to do all that? That's insane.
and it's just like the mom and dad, I guess. Well, I mean,
Pretty
because
much,
Thomason was probably taking care of the little kids.
Yeah, assuming. Yeah, I think they even mentioned that like that's her role to
Yeah.
take care of the kids and watch the
And,
kids
like, the
with
sheep
the mother.
too. Like,
Yeah,
put
the
them to
sheep.
sleep.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Black Phillip.
Black Phillip. Bah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's just a really interesting film that just like has so much to offer. I think it opens up like a new genre, right? So if this movie like fails, then like Robert Eggers doesn't get his like second opportunity, and like I don't know, like we'll talk about the box office for the quiz, and if you didn't do your research, which you probably didn't, so good, keep it that way.
Nope.
You'll be surprised. It's a very interesting tale for the box office. So I really don't know. Like it's so different from what we've watched
Well,
for our episodes.
That's true. For our podcast, it is very
It's-
different.
Yeah, and I like that because it's really throwing a new perspective
Yeah.
of like all these different films and like
Not the action sci-fi blockbuster that we've been doing.
no,
every
that's
single
it.
time.
It's very what's the word I want to use? It's like it's not unique, but it's there's a word I can't think of it, but it's just one of those films that like you should watch at some point. It's worth watching. Is
I
it?
agree.
It's not your entertaining blockbuster film like Will said, but it brings a unique portrayal of something you may not have thought about before,
Mm-hmm.
and he does it well. And earlier I said that like there aren't many directors who do this, and I don't know if any other director could do this because, to be honest, he does it so well. And I don't know if
No, the storytelling aspect is done perfectly, honestly.
Yeah,
But missing a little something.
I don't know what that little something would have been. It's hard to say because honestly, this film is like I gave it my original rating like way back
Yeah.
when I rated it. Yeah, well, I guess I'd rated it years after I had watched it originally because I didn't have Letterboxd at that
Right.
point.
Right.
But
the same,
I originally
yeah.
rated it 4 stars. I watched it recently, dropped it down to 3.5
Okay.
because I agree, Will, it was missing that little something.
I think I did the same thing. Or I
I
already
think I
had it
saw
at 3.5.
yours. Yeah, you had
you
a
were at
3.5. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
don't
gave it
know.
a 3.
Yeah, I mean it's fair. I mean, like we all rate things differently,
Of
so
course.
3 is not necessarily bad.
With an average letterbox rating of 3.8.
Yeah,
That's
so
cool.
we're like in the
That's
middle
pretty
of
good,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty decent for Letterboxd rating, honestly.
Yeah, Letterboxd is harsh sometimes. People are really harsh.
Oh yeah.
I haven't mentioned this in an episode, but I mentioned it to you guys. But I watched A Beautiful Mind, and then I went to the reviews of it, and the reviews I saw, because the rating was a little bit lower than I expected, but still pretty respectable. I don't know if anybody wants just to bring it up really quickly. I'm not sure if it's at a 4 or if it's a little bit lower. It's definitely not higher than 4.5, I don't think.
Beautiful Mind, 2001, 3.8. Same thing as The Witch.
Okay, yeah. So I looked at the reviews for it, and I was like, that's a little harsh. I think I might have even given it 5 stars.
You've given it a 5 stars.
It's,
I see it right here.
It's one of those films that, like, for 2001 specifically, to talk about, like we talked about Spider-Man, we talked about how there's a lot of talk of like mental health in it.
Yeah.
The whole A Beautiful Mind is entirely about that, and to do that in 2001 is really special. And I really liked it, but I ended up, anyways, to bring it back. I looked at the reviews and I thought, okay, like, why is it like at 3.8? I'm just curious, and I read a lot of reviews for it that were like, it's Oscar clickbait, and I was like, what does that mean?
No, it's
like,
stupid.
what?
I hate those comments.
Like, that doesn't make any sense. They're like, oh yeah, this is obviously like a push to win an Oscar. That's the only reason it was made. Like, what? Shut up. Like, that doesn't make sense. Like, of course, any movie that's put out is obviously, as much as the director might not want to say it, but obviously in the back of their mind, like, yeah, you're putting out your best work every single time. There's no director who just goes and makes a movie, except for maybe The Room. But like, in a future episode, guys, don't worry, we'll watch it. But no director just goes, oh, you know what? This time, this is I'm gonna half-ass this movie. Like, no director does that. Like, who knows? You never know. Like, it could be their last film. So like, of course, they're gonna put their heart into it.
Especially not with a movie like that deals with the subject matter of Beautiful Mind.
Yeah, you don't.
No
you
directors
don't
be
have
like,
that.
mental health, I'll half-ass this.
Yeah.
Like, no,
Yeah,
you
seriously.
cannot do that.
Especially, wasn't it a true story too?
Yeah,
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 it's a true
especially as a
story,
true
yeah,
story. Like, you
100%.
cannot half-ass that.
Yeah.
No.
no chance.
That's a movie we'll have to watch. That's one of like, it's not a hidden gem, but I see why like people don't want to watch it.
And it's not talked about enough.
It's not talked about enough. Same with The Witch. It's not talked about enough, considering what it brings to. Is it Oscar winning worthy? No, and I don't believe from my research it won
I don't
any
think
Oscars.
so.
I think it was
I highly doubt it,
nominated briefly, but I didn't win. So feel free to look that up, Will. It's not in the quiz. So
Okay. I didn't want to do it just
No,
in
no,
case
no,
you were
I-
like baiting us for the quiz.
I wouldn't have mentioned it if it was in the quiz. Don't worry, I'm not gonna just. But yeah, like I don't know. It's just one of those movies that like doesn't get enough praise, and people kind of just glance over. For whatever reason. Of course, it's difficult when your subject matter is more. It's not. Is it a horror movie? Yes. Is it a drama? Yes.
Yes.
So like, it's hard to define what kind of movie.
IMDb
really
has
is.
it as a drama, fantasy, horror, like the 3 genres it puts.
Even they can't figure it
Oh
out.
yeah, exactly. And no Academy Award nominations.
Okay.
Nothing really of like big value for awards. It was nominated for like a Critics' Choice, but
It's not surprising though
Yeah.
for him,
yeah,
like
no.
even his other The Lighthouse got stuff though, right?
I
if
think
it did, I want to say it's gonna be like the technical stuff.
Yeah, or acting possibly.
Pattinson or Defoe.
Yeah,
I feel like I remember them being
They-
robbed hard for this though. Like they were
people were
supposed
really
to.
pissed. That's why I'm
Yeah.
bringing it up. So
Yeah.
Nominated for 1 Oscar.
it must be acting. Has to be. I don't really see
I'm
him
hoping
getting
it
like
is.
best director or something.
No, definitely not director.
No.
Especially not. This came out in 2019.
Mm.
Oh,
So 2019
you're
was
not winning that.
massive.
Nope.
Yeah.
Not even close.
Wow, cinematography. That was a nomination.
Okay.
Mm.
I could say. Can you look up The Northman and tell me if it got anything? Because
Yeah.
that should get some stuff.
I
At least for like visual.
yes.
It definitely should.
Because honestly, like 90% of that film, I'm just watching and I'm
No
going, this is
Oscars.
like, what the fuck?
It
okay.
won less awards than The Witch.
Okay.
It's just I find Northman is more just like a enjoyable watch,
Yeah.
but it's a good watch. Okay. Yeah, never mind. I just like I find The Witch good movie, very good made, very well made. Does it follow the horror genre? that you enjoy, like not enjoy, but you're used to watching.
Mm-hmm.
No. So I think that's why I personally didn't like it too much. And that's probably why I
Simpleton.
enjoyed. Yeah, but that's probably why I enjoyed maybe the Northman maybe a little bit more. You know.
Yeah, okay, fair.
Yeah, that's just me though. I wanted to quickly just jump over to like Anya Taylor. I just wanted to say her being in this movie. I thought she was portraying like a 15-year-old, 16-year-old, something like that. I thought she was like 15. She was like 20 when she made this movie.
Yeah.
Wait, how old is she?
I'm pretty sure she was born in like 94, 96 or something.
What?
Whoa, she's
Really?
born in 96.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Because at the end, you see her naked.
Exactly. That's
And in
why
my head, I was like, wasn't she like 16, 17 filming
Yeah.
this?
That's what I thought too.
That's
So that's
true,
why we searched
yeah.
it up.
Ah,
Mhm.
okay, that
Uh-huh.
makes more sense, I guess.
Yeah. I was
Yeah.
like, there's no way. I was like, as soon as I saw her like naked, I was like, okay, I have to search this up.
There's
This-
no way they
yeah.
show an underage.
Exactly.
Yeah, no,
Zero.
it would not happen. No.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess they kind of do with Caleb when he comes back.
Yeah, but they don't show.
Yeah.
anything. I mean, they don't show
Yeah.
anything. Which, by the way, I found the Caleb being like naked scene was a bit more disturbing.
Yeah.
I think it was probably one of the most disturbing scenes in the movie. Like the
Just
witch like
seeing him
grabbing
appear
him,
back.
and then
Yeah.
seeing him barebacked. Yeah, it was like I thought it was very like not creepy, but it was like it hit. I was
Random, like
Yeah.
out of
yeah,
nowhere.
it was out of nowhere.
it's-
It just
yeah.
it just hit, and she kind of hears like a rustling, which she hears a lot, by the way, throughout the movie. She's just like constantly like turning her head and being like, "Oh, is that rustling? Oh, is that like leaves like branching around or something?" But then she does this, and she sees the brother, and she's like, "Oh my god, like what the fuck? What are you doing naked?" You know. Which, by the way, I didn't understand. I wanted to get your kind of opinion on this as well, because like we see the witch is like making out with the kid,
Yeah.
and then did she like violate him or something?
I think it's just Satan.
It's
Just, I want to say like goes into him, but like that sounds so bad.
Well,
but-
it's like it's a sin for the time. It's temptation.
Right,
So
right.
when I saw that, yeah, it was like, yeah, okay, well, like it's him sinning technically, right? So
I guess,
like
yeah.
if you look at it
Makes
that
sense.
way,
Yeah. Okay, I see it now.
Yeah, it's a really unique way that he portrays. I'm sure he did his research. If a guy would do his research on
Oh, of course, it's
all of
100%
that,
he did,
he would.
yeah.
He's the one, right? I mean, I couldn't even bear to read all that. Not a chance.
especially not in old English as well.
No,
Because
yeah.
you know all the research he did was in
Did
old
he?
English.
Was he?
Oh,
I actually didn't get a chance to research. Is he the screenwriter for it? I assume he's.
Yeah, it's written and
probably-
directed by him.
Okay, so kudos to him.
Yeah.
That he honestly probably should have got a nomination for that. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
actually. Will you? I keep asking you because you have the laptop today. Will, can you Google really quickly what was even like what the Oscar look was for this film? Because I don't even know what it's competing against. Because
was a
I know
2016
what was
year.
in box office wise for the quiz.
But like Oscar wise, eh?
But like Oscar wise,
yeah, it was the
I don't even
2016
know.
year, right?
Yeah, 2016. So there was stuff like The Revenant nominated,
Mm,
The Martian,
yeah.
Steve Jobs, The Danish
Oh, yeah.
Girl. That was all the
Ooh.
acting.
Damn.
Spotlight.
What about just for screen adapt? Well, it wasn't adapt.
Would it fall into that's adapted?
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
because it's not original. Technically,
But it's based on old folklore.
Yeah.
so I'd
and,
say it's
like,
an adaptation, probably.
Let's see production design. I haven't seen The Danish Girl, but they gave a Danish Girl a production design nomination and not this.
Danish Girl is really good.
But
I haven't seen it,
I
so
haven't
I
seen it
can't
yet.
comment
Eddie
necessarily.
Redmayne did really well in there.
I don't know I'm not surprised it didn't get anything either. So
Hmm.
like I'm not too mixed on that one.
oh, that's interesting. So adapted screenplay would have been against The Big Short, Brooklyn. No clue.
Did The Big
Carol.
Short win?
Yeah, The Big Short won.
Yeah,
sense.
that's a.
But it was also against The
that's-
Martian for adapted screenplay.
Yeah,
Oh.
it would have lost, but I would have liked to see it even be nominated.
Yeah.
To be fair, but it's a pretty strong category
And
from what
if
I've
it
heard
were
so far.
what's considered original, it'd be up against Spotlight, Ex Machina, Inside Out, Straight Outta Compton. Like still some.
It could have.
It could have.
It
but
was
still
more
some
likely as an
decent wins
original.
there.
If
Yeah.
it were considered that, then I could see it in that category. But adapted, I don't think it would have even gotten a spot. No, that's a really strong category.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
Definitely.
that's not surprising. That's too bad. You know, maybe we know about Oscar biases and stuff like that. Like there's worrisome that the Academy is not even going to recognize Oppenheimer as in certain categories because it's not technically original material or whatever they want to say, because a lot of documentary type styles get overlooked when it comes to.
But the Academy also loves biopics.
They do.
It's true, yeah.
They always reward biopics,
Yeah.
especially in acting. Austin maybe should have won it that year, but
Yes, if anybody's
Look back
watching, I
at
got
the-
this lovely Elvis poster here that I got off Etsy. Actually, decent quality print too. Anyway, I don't know who the distributor is. All right, don't ask me. But anyways, don't.
I did it just to poke you.
All right, you know
Just
what?
to poke you.
I'm just gonna try not to get mad right now. Okay, like I just like. All right, you know what? Let me rant really quick.
Go for
Let's
it.
hear
Go
it.
for it. I did open the door for you.
Yeah,
let's
you
hear it.
really did. Listen, I'm not annoyed necessarily with the end result. I think it's one of those Oscar nominations that is people will look at, see the winner, and be like, okay, cool, and then see who is the second best. Let's be honest here. It's just one of those things that people will
it's
always
true.
just go, okay, yeah, like they
Could have gone either
Let
way.
me rephrase this in a completely different way. There was enough people out there that appreciated Austin Butler's effort that it doesn't even matter
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah.
Like that's it. Like
No.
people recognize the work that he put in. That it's fine.
Like he didn't get the Oscar, but in the race leading up to it and all the other award shows,
Yeah.
it was 50-50 between the two. So like
100%,
it's not like he didn't get any recognition.
No, that's it.
Because
He
that
got
would have been
his-
really sad. If Brendan Fraser would have swept every single award,
Then it would have been.
that would have been kind of
Yeah,
sad.
would have been. Yeah. So
At least he got some of them, like
yeah. Yeah, if we ever do an Elvis episode, I think I'll be the only one talking the entire time. I swear, I can do the episode solo.
He's
He's
ready.
Yeah.
yeah, big Elvis fan over there.
Let's do it next. No, okay. Yeah.
Maybe one day.
Yeah, maybe one day.
I mean, you guys say maybe one day.
We
like,
say maybe one day for like so many movies because
Yeah.
there's so many good
there
movies.
are so many movies
Yeah.
out there, right?
Yeah.
It'd be impossible to pick like the perfect one for an episode. We
No,
could just
exactly.
like ramble about anything. Honestly, for us, I feel like there are certain episodes where we focus on the movie. I think The Witch is one where it's brought up a lot of great ideas, and it just allows us to kind of just talk about films, which really at the
Yeah.
end of the day is sort of the point of this.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
for people to listen and for you guys to be on Spotify or YouTube or wherever you are listening, just to hear us talk about films, I hope that's enough to sort of entertain you for an hour or two and just sort of, give you new ideas and a more, respect for the film industry. I'll have more to say that about after the quiz. I have some stuff to bring up. So
I'm excited for the quiz.
Yes.
I think I'm gonna do well this time.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do we just go into it right now?
all right, let's go into the quiz.
Let's go. Yes, I'm
Alrighty.
excited.
All
I'm
right,
excited.
So
'cause
let me grab my laptop.
I think you won last time, right?
Yes, I did win last time.
That's if I'm keeping count very well. I'm pretty sure you're like 3-2,
Something like that?
something like that. I think Alex has the scores, but
Sure, yeah, I totally took the score.
Okay, never mind.
I think I'm one ahead of you.
yeah, I'm pretty sure
Whether
you're
it's
one ahead.
2-1, 3-2, I'm one ahead. I think.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it's
I forget when we actually started keeping track.
Yeah.
it's
This is what, our 7th episode?
hold on, I have it in another
This is episode
document.
7, I think. Yeah.
So I would assume, yeah,
Something like that?
you're probably at like 4. No, you're probably 2 ahead then, unless we're tied. No, we can't be tied.
It's really close.
Anyways, yeah, it's really close. We'll get into it.
So before we get into the quiz here, I just want to give a quick shout out to our last episode, Spider-Man 2. If you haven't listened to it, please go and watch it. It's probably, I don't want to say it's our best episode necessarily, because honestly, our Inglourious Basterds one was pretty good. Also, our Dark
Very good.
Knight one is pretty darn good as
Just
well.
listen to all our episodes.
Oh my god.
But the Spider-Man one, if you just want to hear about us talk about Spider-Man for 2 hours, that's the episode. It's
Yeah.
It was
a
a lot of
really
fun to
entertaining
record,
one.
so-
Oh, yeah.
It was a
Yeah.
lot of fun.
you want to see some funky outfits too?
There,
Definitely check
yeah,
it
yeah,
out.
thank
oh,
you.
yeah.
You beat me to it. You beat me to
That's
it.
it.
So yeah, I just really want to shout that one out really quickly. So for the quiz, as always, we've got box office stuff, and I've got one unique question. So I'll leave that one if we have a tiebreaker. So here we go. So the box office. Does anybody want to start off with the budget for this movie? Remember, it's his first and it's not necessarily known to be a blockbuster hit. So,
Yeah.
how much money do you think he got?
I won last time, so champ, right? That was what we've been
Yeah.
doing.
Go ahead.
It is an A24 movie as well.
Yep.
I'm going to say really not a lot because there's like no CGI in this either. 20 million.
I'm going 30. It's got to be around that range.
I don't see it being much more than that.
Yeah. Because it's horror film. It's A24. First director debut.
And it's at the start of like the A24 rise as well. Something I was going to bring up.
That's true too. All right.
Sorry, I slightly blanked for a second while I was looking at something. My bad.
No worries.
Yeah, all good.
What were your? Somebody said 20.
I
Will,
went
you said
20.
20, and you?
30.
Okay.
Oh, is it 25?
Yeah, maybe minus like 19 million from that. The budget was 4.
Whoa.
What?
Yep.
Damn.
Yep.
Okay.
I was surprised too. I had to look it up really quickly. Again, while you guys were saying it, sometimes I double guess my research, but no, yeah, it was 4.
No, that actually makes sense.
Makes sense. A24 isn't necessarily the biggest budget when it comes to.
Because in my mind, I'm
certain
also
films.
thinking Anya Taylor-Joy, Ralph Fiennes, who now are
That's
known.
Who is
They get
yes, big
big
difference.
paychecks.
Yep.
For Anya's first movie, basically Ralph's like,
Yeah,
I don't want to
he's-
say breakout role in a way, but his career also blew up following
Yep.
this.
100%.
Oh man,
So,
yeah, I guess that makes sense.
So
4 million, damn.
Will gets it just because he
I
was
almost
like
don't want to
ever
take
so
the point for that, but
You're taking it. You're closest.
Fuck.
and you guys were way off.
yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Budget was 4 million. How much did it make at the box office?
Total?
So
There you go.
this is an interesting stat, just to give you a bit of context here, because the movies that were out at the time, I will ask you a part of the quiz, which one out of a certain group of them was the most profitable. But out at the time, we had The Martian.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
this is just the month that it came out. Okay,
Right.
we're not even talking about the whole year. So The Martian, Sicario came out. The Walk, if anybody's watched that, and I'll bring that one up afterwards.
That's the
Anyways.
one with Joseph Gordon-Levitt?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll bring it up.
Okay.
And Steve Jobs came out as well in October alone. So some really highly regarded films, and there's a bunch of other ones there as well. But considering that, the only reason I say take this with a grain of salt is because, funny enough, I couldn't find like my concrete evidence of what the official like box office numbers were. But I have a number. We'll go off of that.
Okay.
So Alvaro, why don't you start it off here?
Yep. So made 4 million. I'm sorry. It had a budget of 4 million.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say made probably like 10 million. Just with that budget, I'm probably going 10.
Mm-hmm.
You know what?
Mm-hmm.
I'll go to 12 million.
Okay. All right.
He leaves the door open.
A little bit.
Interesting.
I like that. You said you had difficulty finding numbers, so I'm guessing.
I'm not going to say difficulty finding numbers is necessarily the way I would look at that. It's just that it wasn't as straightforward to like once I found the like right wording, well, not right wording, but once I found the sources that I thought, okay, those are fine,
Right.
then it became apparent what the budget was. But it wasn't as straightforward as being like, so if anybody ever wonders what sources I use for this quiz, the best one out there, which I'm sure many of you have used before, is Box Office Mojo. Okay. It's associated with IMDb, so it's not necessarily like it's sometimes misses, and most of the time, like I'd say 98% of the time, it's correct. When I looked up the release date for this and then looked it up on the system, it doesn't show up in the list of other movies within that month. So when I look at The Martian, when I look at The Walk, when I look at Steve Jobs, it doesn't show up within the month for some reason. Do I know the reason why? No. Could I have looked it up? Absolutely. But I honestly didn't because, well, I gave up. Also, there was a early release date for this, okay? So if you look up the release date for this, it's October 2015. Early release date on the IMDb associated website is February 19th, 2016.
Damn.
Which I think would qualify for the Oscars still. February?
Because
I
it
think
had a
they're still
release
allowed.
before.
Mhm.
I think so.
So knowing that, anyways, I still have a number off of the IMDb website that I trust. That's the number I have.
Okay.
I've heard different numbers, but I think this one's probably the most accurate, and you'll see why. So
You went 12.
I won 12.
I'm gonna go a bit higher. I'll go 15.
oh, all right. You know, I really should just stop giving you guys points if you're like way off, honestly. So the the total box office was 40.
Okay.
Yeah, not
Wow, I
bad.
actually really
Mhm.
like 10. Honestly.
10's
it was a
a
pretty
good
good answer.
guess. So I guess Will gets it again.
Will's at
I
2.
guess Will gets
Damn.
it. That's
I
all
don't,
right.
I don't want to take these points though. I'm not
That's
counting this so
fine,
far
it's
in my
fine.
head.
I could have gone
Look
like
at the
20 or something.
sportsmanship right there.
It's all
That's-
good.
Well, because both answers have been like still way off.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
you guys have
we
been-
could always go a bit lower or
Yeah,
higher. It's fine.
yeah.
It's fine. You get them.
Okay,
I'll come
I
back.
have 2 more questions.
All right,
so
all right.
if
Okay,
Alvaro
perfect.
manages to get this one, and then and he manages to get the
Bonus.
bonus, it's more
Yeah.
just a tiebreaker, or if we'll
Right.
see. You'll see. It's a good question. I think you guys will enjoy it. But anyways, I told you The Martian came out. I'm not even going to ask you to guess the budget for that, or not guess. I'm going to ask you to guess which of these 3 made the most money. And obviously, if I put The Martian in there, you know it did. Does anybody just want to, for fun, just quickly tell me what your thoughts are of total, not budget, but total box office numbers?
For Martian?
Yep.
Matt Damon.
Mm-hmm.
Very popular book.
Very
Yeah.
popular movie. I remember when this came out, it was very highly regarded.
600?
I'm going 500.
Bro, this is practice for you. Stop guessing so low. 630 was the
Let's go.
yeah.
Look at
So
that.
so if I asked you that, you guys probably would have like I said, you guys are pretty much on the nose for that. So that's too easy. So between Sicario, The Walk, and Steve Jobs, which one of those 3 made them? Actually, you know what? For fun, which one of them made the least amount of box office budget?
Are we talking first or second Sicario?
I believe this is the first one. It just
Okay.
says Sicario, so I
Okay,
think it's
so
the
yeah.
first one from 2015 because I think the next one came out
18?
Yeah, 18 I think it's 18 because I do remember seeing a commercial for it quite a few times. So, which one of these 3 made the least amount between them?
Are you starting this time?
I'll go Sicario.
All right.
Sicario? I was. That was probably gonna be my guess, but I guess I'll go Walk. You know what? I'm going for The Walk.
Okay.
I'm hoping for the trick question.
Me too.
Ooh.
I feel like it was.
All
a trick
right. So you're both wrong, but if I'm going based off of who is the closest, like we've been going, technically Alvaro was closer. Sicario made 84. The Walk made 61, and the lowest was actually Steve Jobs, 34.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Damn.
Is that
Which
the-
Steve Jobs is this? The one with Ashton Kutcher or
Fassbender.
yeah, Michael Fassbender.
Let me double check really
I
quickly.
think that's the Fassbender one.
Okay, that makes sense. I think the Ashton Kutcher one made more.
You probably did.
That's probably why.
Yeah,
I thought that was going to be number 1.
I thought so too.
It is the Fassbender one
Okay, that's
Yeah.
why then.
Huh.
That's for sure why.
with Seth Rogen.
I mean, it is like the second.
Yeah,
Jobs
I didn't watch it.
Yeah.
biopic and
Yeah.
It's just 2 biopics for one guy.
like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Jeez.
Anyways.
Important guy, like in the history of technology and stuff. Obviously important
Yeah.
guy, but
Yeah.
2 biopics in like what, 5 years? In less than 10 years span? Like,
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, it's within those 10 years.
So are we
Mhm.
giving Alvaro the point there?
I don't think so.
No?
No,
Wow.
I'm not gonna take it. But
All
that
right.
one was
All
like
right.
not.
Okay.
It's.
I mean, I was going to give it to you because
Yeah,
my 2 points are like very far off too. So like,
but you were closer. This one was just like
Do
weirder.
we want to just for fun call it a tie right now, considering
last
that
question.
you were pretty far on the numbers? You were technically the closest on this answer.
You have one question
I have
left?
one question left.
All right.
Let's hear
And
the
it's
question first.
not actually that complicated of a question. I just love it because it's it's just a true or false one. Just as simple as that.
Ooh.
Not even there's not a lot of thinking.
Okay.
So you guys have seen the title poster for The Witch, and Alvaro mentioned. I'm not sure if we were recording yet,
I
but
don't
you
think
asked
so.
us how to pronounce this name. Is it The Vitch? Is it The Witch? Who knows? Well, here's my question. Is the reason why, now we know that there's 2 V's technically. It's
Yeah.
Is it a W? Is it two V's? True or false? The reasoning for that is to imply the role that Black Phillip plays, the goat plays in the movie.
Oh.
Because it's a movie poster. You wanna show, potentially not tell necessarily what the potential enemy is within the film. Because as we know, Black Phillip is Satan, and
Yeah.
could it be hooves of Satan? I don't know.
I have my answer.
I'm going false.
Yeah.
For fuck's sakes, guys! What the hell? One of you is supposed to win. Damn it! Okay, so yes, it's false. Okay, I'll give it one more redemption. I'm not gonna say true or false. I want to. Okay, I'm trying to think of a way to. Okay, I'll just ask the question, and then if one of you gives a slightly close answer, maybe if you looked up your facts for this, you'll know it immediately. But do you know the reason why it's written that way?
I have a theory.
So based off of your theories, I'll judge whether or not it's close. If you're like way off, both of you, then like forget it. But we'll just see if we can get a winner out of this one. So give me your best theory, Will.
Go ahead.
Well, my theory is that obviously the movie takes place 1500s. It's in Old English. The letter W back then probably was represented by just two V's. Letter probably didn't exist yet, so it was VV for the witch. That's my guess.
That's a pretty good guess. I was gonna say it's probably like when you say witch in the Old English, it was probably like maybe shortened to have like just a VV as like quick, like hey, like, or maybe that's like the symbol for it. You know what I mean? It's like the symbol that they use to represent witch. It's like they would carve it on people or something. I don't know. That's my guess.
Okay.
I like that too.
You're both within the right. Technically, technically, Will is closer, but like both of your answers fall within the same realm. So the fact that I found was that in Old English at that time, there actually wasn't a letter for W or for many words. And so that was one of the ways that they would represent that sort of idea.
Okay, so yeah. That's
So
Will's
you're
point.
both basically right.
It's Will's point. That's Will's point. Will won this one,
All
100%.
Fair enough.
No problem. I'll take the L on this one.
I genuinely thought one of you would say true or false on the original question. Honestly, I didn't think that both of you would say false. Because to be honest, it's not necessarily like super wrong. It's one of the things I thought of when I saw the poster.
So you're saying the two V's are like two hooves?
Something like that, yeah. I kind of made it up, to be honest, because I knew the true question I wanted to ask, but I didn't want to like just like ask that because I'm pretty sure you guys would have got it immediately. So
now that you say it, like I can see it.
I see it, but it's something you would think about after you watch the movie.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
oh yeah, for sure. Like, but that's what I mean. Like, I really made the question seem like,
Tried to give more meaning to the
because we do see that on certain posters where
Black Phillip.
Oh man, those kids.
But
Those kids.
I really liked looking at the box office for that because it was a really interesting time when it came out, or at least, like I said, I have two different dates of release for this thing. I don't know why, but I'm just gonna say it was October because honestly, it makes more sense.
Curious.
Yeah.
Now that the quiz is
The
done.
only site that tells me that it was February is the IMDb related one, which, it's like, who knows if it's actually accurate, technically.
I mean, when I searched up the movie, it tells me it's released 2015, but
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure when I saw it, I saw it on Prime. It said it released in 2016.
So which one is it?
I don't know.
I don't know. But
Yeah, 2016.
let's just say it was 2015. Maybe there was like a early, quick like month that it was out for some reason. I don't know. Like a test for A24. I don't know.
I mean, we might do Whiplash in a couple of episodes or something like that, but they did do a short for Whiplash, and then they did like the
That's
full movie.
true.
Would you consider
Yeah.
the short being like the technical release date, I guess?
I think I got it.
You have an answer.
Think I do. So when you search up The Witch 2015, like the little Google info on the side,
Yeah.
it says October 18th, 2015, parentheses USA. That was the first time Wait, no, it was shown at Sundance. I was gonna say that was the first time it was shown in the U.S., but now it's not true. I just saw Sundance in January 2015. Because I think the official release date was February 19th, 2016 for Canada and USA.
Okay.
But now there's two.
It's just
I thought I had it, but now I just caught
release
myself.
dates. Yeah, it's weird. release dates, I don't know.
It's confusing. It's very confusing.
Because it was shown at Sundance in January 23rd, 2015.
Yeah.
And then the next time it was shown was in a Czech Republic Film Festival in July.
Okay. Well, you looked up the Oscars for 2016, and it wasn't nominated for anything, but it would have been. We'll check 2017 just to be safe, but I don't know. That's really weird. It's kind of disappointing when like certain films don't technically like qualify for Oscar-worthy stuff. You know, it's like they push to get like stuff out. And
I'm just seeing movies here, and I don't think it would have been nominated anyways.
Okay.
You're just seeing like
2017.
bop after bop, eh?
Yeah, like, original screenplay, Manchester by the Sea, Hell or High Water, La La Land, The Lobster.
Yeah. Actually, I do. That's so funny. I actually looked at the 2017 one particularly because I was confused when the release date was, and that's where I saw the list of the nominations. I'm like, you're not winning anything.
Maybe it falls in adapted screenplay. Moonlight, Arrival, Fences, Lion. Wow. So I don't think it would have gotten a screenplay nomination anyways.
No.
That's an insane year.
That's an absurd year.
There's some years that are honestly, you just think back and you're like, whoa, that's a really good year for movies.
Yeah.
For me, the first year that comes to my mind is like 2014. 2014 is the first year that just comes into my mind because I just think of Interstellar and Whiplash and like a bunch of so many other movies, but like, I don't know, 2014 just hits for me. It just hits.
I mean, it's always 2019.
2019 is insane.
Parasite.
Yeah.
Just that alone to me is like
2019 was absurd.
I mean, you were huge theatrical releases like Infinity War. Was Infinity War 2019? Or was it
19 was Endgame.
Endgame. You had
18
Endgame.
was Infinity War.
That's it. You had Endgame in 2019. Everybody went crazy. I think that's probably one of the busiest theaters we're probably at. I mean,
yeah.
I didn't work at a theater for Endgame, but
No, I didn't either.
So you guys weren't there for Endgame either? 'Cause I was going to ask you guys.
But I looked at the numbers.
Although,
because Barbenheimer was.
I was going to say, so again, a little bit of context if you haven't listened to other episodes. All three of us have worked at the theater. Some of us still do. And you have access to historical data up to a certain point. Like you can go back pretty far. Like there was a day where a couple of us just went like way back, like 2008. We were looking at like Cars release and stuff like that, and like the numbers for the theater and stuff like that. I do remember going back to Endgame and stuff like that. The numbers were massive, and then I compared them to Spider-Man: No Way Home, which were very big, although staggered because of closures and stuff like that. And we were the theater wasn't open and stuff like that. And then I looked at Barbenheimer, and I worked the Friday that it came out, or the Saturday it came out. I can't remember, but we hit like
Friday, Saturday was me and you. I remember perfectly for Barbenheimer.
Yeah, it was. I remember. Yeah, I don't remember because
we
honestly,
carried it so
that was
hard.
such a blur. My brain was just like on
so
overdrive.
much fun,
3 different popcorn machines going, hearing like so many noise. Like my brain was overstimulated. I crashed so hard at the end of that.
The lobby just packed with people, like a sea of people in the lobby.
Yeah,
all pink, dressed up as Barbie.
Yeah, and then like the occasional person that's like Oppenheimer, and I'm like, you're the man. Yeah,
in the suit.
That was insane. So yeah, I remember that day because the following the Sunday after it, or the day after I should say, was a little bit less than the Saturday. But the reason I bring it up is because I remember the Tuesday following, everyone was like, it's going to be horrible. It actually didn't match the Saturday. The Saturday was the busiest of that weekend.
Saturday weekend. The busiest.
Saturday hit, I think we did 5,500.
It was something like that.
Something crazy like that.
Like for all the other movies playing, or just
on that day?
Well, for the entire day.
But it was like 5,000 of those were Barbenheimer.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I remember the numbers specifically for that whole Saturday where Endgame came out.
Okay.
And it was 6,400 for that same theater.
Jeez.
Yeah.
And
that's
that
for
one day.
One movie.
One movie. Well, I mean,
One movie.
well, that was for the whole day, but the whole movie made about 5,800.
There you go.
Yeah,
there you go.
Just
for us,
one
the
movie.
55 was every movie, but like it was 5,000.
Yeah. Let's just say like 55 to 6 you said it, or 58. It's pretty close. I mean, it took 2 movies to do that compared to one movie,
but
which
just
is
the
insane.
Experience itself was
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh my God, it's crazy.
There was Mario that was also pretty insane.
I think I missed Mario.
Missed Mario.
Opening
Mario
weekend.
opening
I think I
weekend was
missed
kind
it.
of nuts too.
Yeah, it was pretty big, but it was not that big.
No, it wasn't. We knew what was gonna happen.
It was a good warm up for Barbenheimer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what was No Way Home? I'm pretty sure that didn't that do like 51 on the Saturday?
I
thought it
wasn't
did
I wasn't
51.
there.
No,
Way
no,
Home.
I don't think it ever did.
I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure you're
You know
wrong.
what? No, it was
No.
45.
There's no way it was
Yes,
45.
yes,
Get
yes,
the
yes.
heck out
Yes,
of here.
yes,
I
I'm not even
worked that.
joking.
I
Yeah, yeah.
remember sitting at my cash and just looking up, and it was definitely packed.
Yeah.
Like no doubt. I remember watching that movie. If anybody ever wonders why we go to movies, just go and watch online clips of people's reaction to No Way
Yes.
Home. That's when you know it's good.
Oh my God.
Like
That was incredible.
insane.
We should do a No Way Home episode soon. Not right away. We just did a
right
Spider-Man
after
one.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, but we should do another
Damn.
one in the future. I find it's just one of those movies that just has so much stuff that you can talk about all the Tobey Maguires, all the Andrews.
Yeah.
you can talk about all the MCU.
Exactly. There's so much.
I feel like we should do it at some point. You know, like with
We'll do
I
it.
need
We'll
to
do it.
rewatch that movie because
Yeah.
when I left the theater after that, obviously I was on the high, the nostalgia.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that was amazing.
Yeah, me too.
But then the more I think about it, the more I'm like, was it that good?
Yeah.
Or is it just nostalgia?
I saw
I'll be honest.
I saw the Thursday and the Friday, like both back to back on huge
My God.
packed theaters. It was crazy. The hype was insane. So on both the
Dude.
days that I saw like fully hyped up, I was like, it just hit so hard.
That's the thing. Is it just the experience?
It's-
Watching
I don't
it
know.
alone at home on my
It
laptop,
is-
is it going to be the
It's-
same?
The
Like,
experience is a big part of it.
yeah.
It's a big part.
Yes.
But it's a good movie. I find.
I agree. Like for sure.
I need to
the
rewatch it.
Big part of
Just
it.
I need to know if the movie itself is decent or if it was really just the experience. Because obviously it's easily
To be
top
100%
experiences.
honest, I find No Way Home it just hit so many nostalgic spots.
Yeah.
And it just hits so hard when you were watching. You're like, oh, that's really cool to see them.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool to see them. Oh my God, it's like the cameos were very well done. Movie
That's
was,
true.
I mean, like maybe it wasn't the best movie, but it was very well done for what they had. They could have done more for sure, but
Oh, yeah.
we'll talk about it for a later episode. I
Well,
guess, you know?
I mean, listen.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier in the episode, like the point of this is, yes, we analyze movies and we like to talk about the movies that we watched for this week. But hey, listen, if we go off on a tangent about talking stuff, but whatever, that's awesome. Like I'm sure there's people listening that would love to hear any opinion on really anything. You know, it's like.
Sure.
I agree for sure. Big part of that movie for sure was going in and seeing it, the anticipation, the just the pure nostalgia of just wanting to see your heroes on the screen one more time. Because you never know, if they want to do another one or whatever. So it's really a special event.
It was
know?
it was an event.
Like I had avoided all the spoilers as well, so I actually didn't know if they were or not in the movie.
I don't think
So like, when I
anybody
saw
knew.
Lance, they were opening the portal, I was like,
yeah.
no way, they didn't.
Yeah.
Andrew pops up, it's like, oh my God.
There were so many. I mean, the way they marketed that movie was probably one of probably I think the very best marketing for especially the cameos. For those
Yeah.
cameos, I think it was the best marketed movie I find. They released those 8K images of Andrew Garfield on the rail. You know, it's like you're not gonna find 8K images unless they actually release them.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like
That
you're
was
not gonna
100%
find that
set up.
on the
Yeah,
online. You know, and people are like, oh, it's photo edited, but everybody's seeing it, and it's like, oh, but it could be real, it could be fake. Everybody was so there's no answer, right? And
It was a fun time.
it was so
Yeah.
fun because the whole week the whole week before the movie you're like, wait, are they actually gonna be there? Oh my God, wait, there's a leak that says their names are on the website. Oh wait, now their names are gone. Wait, are they actually there? I don't know. Oh no, they said they're never gonna be in it. Oh
I
my
have
God.
no clue what you're talking about. What project? No, I'm not in
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like all the interviews were kind of
Oh my
ridiculous
God.
near the end because it was like, they're making a new Spider-Man. Oh, that's
There's-
pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like Andrew Garfield was like, I'm not werewolf. I keep being told I'm a werewolf. I'm not werewolf. It was so
No.
good. Oh,
I managed to somehow get off Instagram and TikTok that whole week leading up to the movie because I
Good job.
didn't want to see anything.
Yeah.
So I avoided every social media for a week.
That's
and then
good.
I was there.
Nice.
Yeah, obviously.
I was on TikTok, and then the day, I mean, I was watching, my whole feed was just a trailer and the trailer and the trailer, but then it was obviously I was still watching a bunch of random stuff, and then the minute I left the theater and I was at home, I'm pretty sure I screen recorded my phone because the next 20 episodes in a row were No Way Home.
Yeah.
All of them. 20 episodes. Like everybody was just posting. It was like back to back. It was nuts. Everybody's going crazy.
A good time for movies, honestly.
Yeah.
I miss. I wish that had happened not when we were sort of in the midst of, the pandemic, unfortunately. So
Yeah.
like I mean, I don't think it hindered necessarily every sort of aspect of going to the movie theater.
No.
It certainly just felt like maybe a little more weary when it came to going to a theater.
Yeah.
I think pretty much everyone just said, don't give a crap anymore. I'm
Yeah.
going. So
Yeah.
I
Because
just
maybe it didn't hinder it for us. Like, we still go, but
Yeah.
I hear it all the time when I'm working at concessions. Like, oh, this is my first time in a movie theater in like 5 years.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
nice to have you back. Like, welcome back, you know?
we'll have to do an entire episode all through because we've all worked at a theater. We'll just like tell tales of horror from the movie theater
boy.
experience working there.
Amazing experiences.
It's yeah.
It's fun, though.
It's fun.
It's
It is
fun, yeah.
Yes.
It's a different experience. There's always something new to say, and I've never been more. Actually, it's so funny. If anything, I'm like less caught up on movies. I'll walk in and just be like, "What? This movie's out now?" Like I don't even know what's happening.
Everything's just a blur. Release dates are like, yeah, you somewhat know. It's like, oh, it's out now. Cool. Yeah.
I mean, you don't miss a big release though. That's for sure. You
yeah.
definitely know that's coming out, right? It's just, I don't know. It's
Really sucks that our theater doesn't get many indie movies though.
yeah. It's
Like
it's
this is
unfortunate,
A24,
yeah.
right? We probably didn't get this.
Especially
would
it
not
being his
surprise
first
me.
movie, I don't think we got it.
Because we miss up on a lot of
We
A24s.
do miss, yeah. We
Yeah.
do, yeah. Would it? We I feel like we might have gotten it just because if it did come out in October, possibly, then we might have gotten it.
Yeah, for
'Cause,
Halloween.
Yeah, but I'm not surprised. I don't know. It would have been nice to see this movie on the big screen, though. I
It
don't
would've been
know.
interesting.
It would have been very interesting. I mean, I saw The Northman on the big screen, so
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
a
too.
very pleasant viewing experience. I could see how this movie doesn't have that big, like, sort of beautiful, colorful sort of
It just
look
would have
to
been
it.
the natural look of the forest, the natural
Yeah.
look of the
That's it.
opening, the clearance they live in.
Yeah.
That would have been really nice to see on the big screen, though.
I mean,
That
I
was
saw
so
the
good.
movie with like light coming through. So like for me,
Yeah.
like the dark scenes, it was kind of like a bit hard to make out, but like I could still see
Yeah,
it
same.
fine. Like if I would have seen it in the theater, obviously it's the whole experience, right?
Yeah.
It's the way the director wants it, right? Yeah.
Those scenes with just like the candle lighting them up, it would have
Yeah.
been so much more immersive. Everything black around us. Would have been interesting. It's true.
It would have been interesting, yeah. There's a lot of movies out there that we've all not had the opportunity to see in theaters. It'd be really cool to.
Interstellar IMAX.
Yeah.
I wish.
There's-
I still haven't seen that movie in theaters. I missed out on the screening.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I missed that too. To be fair, it was late.
It was late.
Really late.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah.
I'll just say it was good.
Yeah, I don't have the energy to do that.
Oh.
I don't know. There's just certain films, not Interstellar, obviously, but other films that you just, I don't know. You get like an initial dopamine rush, and you're like, this is good, and then it just teeters off, and you're like, what happened?
Yeah,
And then you
yeah.
fall asleep. So at least for me, I just
Well, especially at that time. Like we started
Yeah.
the movie at what for the screening? Like 12:30, 1 a.m.
Yeah, it was
yeah.
12.
Well, that's not
at
fair.
midnight.
And
I
it's-
probably would have stayed awake for it, but
For Interstellar, yeah, but
yeah.
your
Still a
average
long
watcher
movie.
to start that
Yeah.
long movie at 1 a.m.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I don't know.
It was made.
rough.
I remember it was put on the Friday, but like still.
Yeah,
Most
it's
people
a bit
work
better,
Saturdays,
but
especially in
yeah,
the
they
movie
do.
theater. Saturday
Yeah.
afternoon and everything.
What's a weekend? I don't know.
Yeah.
Just work all through the weekend. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like there was a movie in my head that I was just thinking of that reminded me of sort of a slow. Oh, well, no. Speaking of long movies, with Scorsese's new movie that's coming,
Yeah,
that came out
Killers.
this weekend.
Officially out now.
Or
for us.
sorry,
By the
when
time
we're
recording.
recording this, but it would have been out for a week as we've uploaded this for you guys on the 26th. It's doing kind of well from what I've seen, but I
first
think it's a
day.
slow build up. I think once the first week of news and reviews and everything come out, I think then people will jump to it. Sort of very
I'm kinda scared
Oppenheimer
about
like.
that, though.
I wouldn't be
'Cause I'm-
surprised if people skip out on it because
It's long.
3.5 hours is a really long time. So, just for perspective, if you start one at 9:30 at night, it ends at like 1:10 in the morning.
Yeah.
For a movie. This is. I jokingly, I was working today at the theater, and I jokingly said to somebody, "Oh, there's no intermissions." So have fun,
Yeah.
and then I walked away. So
it's
there's like it's 3.5 hours. Like that's an insane amount of time to be sitting in your seat. Even Oppenheimer at one point kind of felt like, "Ooh, I really need to stand up or something because I need to move around."
Stretch my legs.
Like
something.
it's
The same thing for Avatar 2.
Yeah.
So that was what, 3:15,
Something like that.
3:10.
It's insane. I really just hope that Scorsese was able to sort of like there are going to be moments where we're like, okay, like let's it's chugging a little bit, like let's
of
get
course,
through
of
this.
course.
All movies do. Not every film, even The Dark Knight has moments where you're going, okay, like let's go. But I feel like he's smart enough to know that like 3.5 hours is a long time. He's not stupid. He knows like what to do with that allotted time.
Yeah.
I don't think he's a guy who would go and just make a 3.5 hour movie for the sake of it. Maybe he just wanted to hit a record, possibly, but he's a really, really, really talented director.
Yeah.
Might I say, probably one of the most talented directors. We talked about his catalog of films, so I'm really excited to see it. The amount of planning that has to go in to actually see it is
'Cause
incredible.
we want to watch it all together, right?
We want to
So-
watch. Not
that'd be
only
good.
that, but like if I today decided I'm going to sit down and watch it at 5:00.
You're there till 9.
I'm there till 9:00
Yeah.
to watch a movie is
Yeah.
insane, absolutely insane. So I'm excited for it. I really
I'm not
am.
worried because obviously everything in it will have a purpose,
Yeah,
will serve a
most
purpose
likely. But
in
it's-
the whole movie.
Yeah.
It's not even will it have a purpose. I don't care. Even Marvel movies have a purpose for whatever they're doing for their 3-hour movies, 2-hour movies, 2.5
But
hours.
there's a lot that could be cut out.
I'm
that would
sure
be
there
like,
is.
Who cares?
But it's just how you use it.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
even, like I said, Oppenheimer chugs a little bit, as you get
Yeah.
through the bomb explosion, then you go straight to the trials.
The start of the third act
It
slows down a bit too much.
It slows, right?
But like it's
But you learn to sort of, if you
It'd be an
watch it
interesting
once or
watch.
twice. I'm not going back to watch Scorsese's,
yeah, no.
I just like 3.5 hours. Watch it once, never watch it again. Once it comes, I'm assuming we will probably get this before the Oscars for home viewing.
On
I mean,
release,
it's an
probably.
Apple TV release, so I'm sure it'll
I'm
show
curious
up on Apple
to
TV.
see-
Wait, so is it out on Apple TV at the same time? Is it all
I
at the
don't
same
think
I'm
so.
pretty sure it said coming soon last time I checked.
I don't think so. I think we'll probably get a month or two easily, and then it
Okay.
will
Yeah.
be straight to it.
They wanted to do like a theatrical release. It just says coming at a later
Still
date,
coming.
but it is
Okay.
it is an Apple TV.
I
like,
wonder
movie.
if they don't have like a set time yet, and then like I wonder if they have like a really short contract with theaters, like a month or something, because this is like the
possible.
first Apple TV like actual production for like theater release. 'Cause
They've been starting to do something like that with like I remember Netflix did. I think the first one that I saw was like Red Patrol or something or Red
Red Alert.
Red
Red
Alert.
Alert,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
that one with like
Yeah.
Dwayne Johnson.
Completely
That's
skipped
right, I
out on
forgot.
that
Yeah,
one.
Yeah, I
'cause
didn't even.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Yep, didn't even think about it.
Yeah, and then they did the second
The new
Knives
Knives
Out.
Out.
Exactly.
Glass
Yeah.
Onion.
And then
Glass
now Killers
Onion.
of the Flower Moon. I think those are the only three that, if from my
The
recollection.
simultaneous
think,
releases. sort
yeah,
of.
yeah, from like the streaming platforms to theaters.
Yeah, it's a very, very interesting world that we live in where, like, I don't love all the work that Apple does. They do some good stuff, like Ted Lasso's good.
Ghosted.
Yeah,
But-
I mean, Ghosted's. I
Will,
think Alex
stop.
wants to talk about Ghosted.
Okay.
man.
If
I don't know.
anybody,
It's just so easy right now to
okay,
just focus buttons. I don't know.
I am the reason that I'm going to. Oh my god. Okay, Ghosted. They knew what they were doing. Okay, so if anybody's ever watched Ghosted, please don't.
Waste
If
of
you
time.
did, you suffered with me. Congrats. I think I turned it off after like an hour and a bit, which is pretty much the entire film because it's not
Way
that
too
long.
long to sit down
Way
for.
too long. Okay. It was one of those movies that I knew what I was going into, so I multitasked while I watched it. Because I knew the plot before, like the trailer gives everything away, so there's no point in watching it. But it's just so horrific because as much as the discredit to Chris, I'm not going to mix this up. It's Evans in this
Evans,
one.
Chris
Okay,
Evans,
good. Not Hemsworth. Wow.
Ana de Armas.
Ana de Armas.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yep, completely blanked on that one as well. They just don't work together at all,
That's what I
and they're
heard.
both phenomenal actors on their own. But in this together, they're horrible. Considering it's technically a romance, really bad. It probably is worse than a Hallmark movie. It
does not
even-
surprise me at all.
even Hallmark movies, they know what they are. This
Yeah.
is worse.
But it's because
Way
Hallmark
worse.
movies have been doing it for how long?
Yeah,
now?
it's like comfort.
so
for
they
Hallmark.
have
is,
their
yeah.
their recipe that they just
Yeah.
rinse, repeat,
Yeah.
rinse, repeat.
There's one there. Sorry,
PTSD.
Hallmark movies are really fun. I don't like to bring it up because it seems self-centered, but I'll bring it up because Hallmark is on the table here. But I do work in the film industry technically, so I do a lot of background work, and I've done a few like legitimate things and stuff like that. Maybe one day we'll watch them for the
That would be
Why
fun.
not?
for the
That'd be really fun.
That would
podcast.
be really fun.
Yeah.
Just try to find Alex.
I'm so yeah. I'll speak on the Hallmark thing, but I did one recently. It's very fun. It's very chill. They know what they are. Even the first AD, like we asked, like, oh, what's the story? And she was just like, oh, city bumpkin moves back to her hometown, falls in love. Your simple stuff. Like they know what they're in for, right?
They're not
Yeah.
pretending
So-
to be this high art form. It's-
Yeah. But it was really, really fun. I spent like 16 hours doing really nothing, honestly. We'll bring it up. Maybe we'll watch that for a holiday movie because it does
That'd
come
be
out
fun.
in November. I looked it up. So
What movie is it?
it's called The Christmas Mural. It's filmed all in Montreal, filmed all around, very close to our recording studio, which I will not give the location for. There's a part. Maybe I'll bring it up. It's a very unique perspective. So like when we talk about movies and I watch a movie, there's certainly a part of me that kind of like thinks about, the more technical aspect and stuff like that. And like sometimes I give certain films the benefit of the doubt because I do understand the amount of painstaking work that goes into a single day of work. Like we for the Hallmark movie, or actually I'll bring up another one which I mentioned earlier, The Walk. I was in it.
Nice.
I'm literally Joseph Gordon-Levitt. So no, I'm kidding. But there's a scene in the movie that you bring back. He goes back into his past, and it sort of is a flashback to why he does trapezing. And so that was filmed in a dog race track, a shut down one in. I actually don't know exactly where it is, but it's in closer to like Old Montreal, Old Port. And so it was very interesting to experience that because it started late in the day and it went past midnight, which fun fact I wasn't of age. So for when you go past midnight and you're underage, you actually get extra pay because you have to pay fees for that.
nice.
So you're technically not allowed. It is the whole thing. And anyways, Robert Zemeckis, by the way, directed The Walk, if anybody didn't know. I saw him, so that's like my
Ooh,
crowning
nice.
achievement,
Saw him.
low key. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Like that's like anytime like anybody mentions anything about like him or like anything like that, I'm just like, hey, I
worked
saw
for
him.
him.
Met him,
Yeah. No, I mean, it was a really cool experience. But like speaking of like the amount of work that goes into it, like it was freezing cold. It wasn't warm. It was a really just a hectic environment,
Right.
and it's not easy because like. It's a huge tent. They legitimately built it out and everything like that. And like, yeah, it's Robert Zemeckis, guys. Like, this guy knows what he's doing, and like, it's big, star names for this production. And it's so unfortunate the film didn't do super well, But as I spent more time in the industry and I learned sort of like what's going on and all the crap that goes behind, and like, there's legitimate like issues that arise out of nothing, almost out of pettiness. Sometimes, there are people getting annoyed, and like, it's just, it's like any work environment, but it's heightened because, as we know, the Actors Guild, I think they're still on strike, but
They
the
are
writers
still on
have
strike.
concluded,
Yeah.
but the actors are still on strike. So I don't know the entire details, but I can tell you for certain for if anybody knows anything about the industry and different unions. ACTRA is a big union in Canada. They pretty much cover the entirety of Canada. Actually, no, they cover the entire English speaking of Canada, and then you have different one for different language. ACTRA is also on their own strike, and it's been a while. It's before the actors went on strike, but their main concern is about living conditions. And when I say living conditions is, does anybody know what a typical schedule is like for just the film industry?
Oh boy. I remember you brought it up to me one time. You told me.
I brought it up to Alvaro one time. Yeah.
Literally all day, right? Like
so it's all day. It's nonsense. So it's all day, and not only is it all day, you then reset to do it again the next day. Oh, but by the way, it's like 6 days straight. Yeah, okay, you get like a day off, but then you do it again. So you do something like overtime. First of all, you're passing 40 hours in the span of like 6 days, and it's just nonstop over and over and over again. And it's brutal. It's horrible. It's not how you should, live your life. The work and art that goes into these films is unbelievable. And I think some people underappreciate the amount of work. There's, like, you talk about Spider-Man into what was the most recent one? Across. Thank you. I literally never get those one right. Spider-Man Across the multiverse, Spideyverse, whatever the hell you want to call it. You talk about all the shots that they worked on, and like how they were we mentioned in the last episode how they were in crunch up until pretty much like
they were still working on it like a week or two before the release date.
Yeah. It's
crazy.
Yeah, it's absolutely absurd. And that goes for a lot of art-related industries. It talks about the video game industry, talk about the film industry.
I mean, video games nowadays, they're never released actually completed.
No.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. A AAA title that doesn't have like game-changing updates a week after release never happens.
Doesn't come out. It comes out, breaks, people complain. Then it's unfair. It's unbelievably inhumane. Really, I mean, like there are certain things that make it seem more doable. The pay isn't necessarily horrible, but it's not. At some point, you kind of just say to yourself, you know what? I don't like pay will never make it worth it. Like okay, technically there's meals included in your work, but like you're still paying for those, so it doesn't really matter. It's like you brought a lunch to work or something. So, but like it's just. Anytime I see a film that doesn't do so well, sometimes I want to look up, the production and stuff like that. And even Inglourious Bastards talked about how it got pushed, and our producer for the score, I can't remember his name right now.
Yeah, me either.
Skipped my mind. Even he couldn't make the scores for the film which was originally planned. So when things like that happen, I always love to just dive deep into it. Yeah, it sucks because there's real humans behind all this work. There's more than just the director, the producer, and the
four main actors.
The four main actors. Yeah. There's so many names, and that's why when I see people in theaters, when I go and have to clean up people's popcorn, by the way, if you ever go into a theater, please, for the love of God, pick up your popcorn and take it to the trash. Please. Whenever I see people still watching the credits, I respect that. I really do, because it's hell. You guys should join me though. It's fun.
Really convincing.
If you ever ask any person who's worked in the industry for long enough, they always say all this, and then they go, "No, but why don't you just like do something else?" They're like, whatever, because they love the craft, because the end product is a lot of fun. So,
of course, seeing the end product is fun.
Yeah,
I bet.
Seeing like, we went through all this hell, but look at this. This is what we've made, like from scratch. Yeah. Obviously satisfying, but is it worth it?
We'll leave it for another episode. We'll do a whole episode, and it will just be like all the stuff that I've worked on, which isn't actually a lot, but it's just like it's a really I don't get embarrassed by it necessarily. I think it's fun to look at it. I've worked hard on it, and like I'm relatively proud of the stuff. There's a few things that I'm like, shit, what happened there? But it's always fun to talk about it. To people who aren't necessarily in the industry, because it gives more perspective and understanding behind it. Anyways, that's my 2 cents.
Yeah. Yep.
Thanks for letting me ramble, guys.
No,
I need to
it's
get that off my
worries.
chest.
It started with
you know?
Ghosted, and then it went into here.
Well, you guys are. To be fair, Ghosted. It probably could have had a bad production, but at the end of the day, to me, Ghosted just was like just an abomination of a film. And honestly, I think The Room is better than it. Honestly, it was
It's an
horrible.
Abomination.
I hated it.
I fully skipped out on that one.
You guys should watch it.
I'm good.
I think
I
you guys
read
will
your
have
review
fun.
on Letterboxd. I laughed, and that's
Yeah,
all
my-
my
What did you
interaction
rate
with
it?
the movie.
So I gave it a star or a star and a half. I didn't
Yeah.
I
even
thought it
give
was
it
a half
0.
star.
It's
Give
the
it
rev-
half a star.
The review itself.
And I
is-
think I wrote
Yeah.
something along the lines of like acting terrible. I think
find it.
I said script was like I don't know. Alvaro's gonna look it up here real
I'm
quick
finding it right
because
now. I'm
the
looking it
ending
up.
I know what I wrote. It's great. I love it. I should start doing that more for reviews for films. I'm not sure if that would pass.
Okay, so it was a star and a half. And here's what Alex wrote. Every once in a while, I give Apple a chance to redeem itself. But once again, they failed to prove anything of value in the film industry. Apple's formula of slapping every recognizable face onto a project with no real story continues to fail. Acting, 7 out of 10. Story, 1 out of 10. Cinematography, 6 out of 10. My will to live after watching -1 out of 10.
There it is.
That's
I
it.
forgot
What
that
a
I
review.
gave. I said, what did I say? Acting 7 out of 10. I think
Apparently.
there were redeemable aspects of it that I was like, oh, okay, like yeah, I guess like it's fine. Not between the two main actors.
No,
That was
exactly.
horrible, but like their performances alone were like
the chemistry
like
that
good
was
enough.
missing
The
out.
chemistry was missing. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Which, I mean, you see them in Knives Out and you're like, oh, it's not bad. You know?
Right? Like
Yeah.
what the? I don't know. It could have been the script that just didn't work. To be honest, I don't know. It's an Apple thing. I stand by my review. I'm right. You're
I
wrong.
just liked it. I just liked the review.
Yeah, 100%. I
It's a
love that.
classic.
Yeah. If you want to see more of those guys, just make sure to check out our letterboxes through our link tree. You can definitely check out the movies that we've recently watched and will be going to watch. We have it on our watch list and stuff there too.
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely. All right. So I think that's a solid place to end it today. It's a very interesting conversation. We talked about The Witch and many other things as well. I loved this conversation. This felt good to just say, honestly, anything, right?
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Got your
it's
nice
good.
little rant out there
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah. Will's always going to try to aggravate me
Oh, it's
every
so much
single
fun.
episode.
It's so much fun.
I have
I love
so
seeing
many
it.
opinions, and I
Yep.
just like I know I'm wrong on many of the things, and I don't mind being wrong. That's fine. It allows for all of us to sort of give a new opinion and say something different. So you know, like sometimes I'll say the most ridiculous stuff, like Spider-Man 2 is better than Dark Knight Rise or Dark Knight. You know, so you know, some people may not agree with that, but like that's the point. You know, I want you guys to feel like you can say whatever you want, even if you think it's wrong. Never feel like you're going to be judged for it. I mean, yeah, I'm sure there's people out there that are going to judge you, and I judge Will all the time about his
course,
takes.
of course.
He has the worst takes, but no,
Debatable.
okay. Anyways, I'm trying to like prove a point here, and you're making it difficult, Will. No, but always feel free to say whatever is on your mind, even if you think you're wrong. The whole point is to start a dialogue and talk about these films, because films are art, and art is to be critiqued. So I'll leave it at that. Again,
said.
I hope you guys absolutely enjoyed and loved this episode. Please take a look at all the other episodes we have out. We have quite a few out now, and all of them have something of value to share. Although, please watch the Spider-Man one. It was so good.
Yes.
It really
play
was.
the game.
Yes, and play the game, for God's
the
sakes. Anyways, any last remarks for you guys?
I just want to appreciate, honestly, everybody for coming in so far. I think we've already passed the month after releasing our first episode. So for anybody listening in, thank you very much for listening and watching on YouTube and Spotify. We do it to have fun and talk about movies, but we appreciate everybody coming in, listening to us, and obviously any kind of comments, any kind of dialogue, exactly like Alex is saying. It's amazing. We love talking about it. That's the reason we started the podcast, to talk about movies. So if you guys have ever any comments, questions, or literally just want to say something about a movie, or even a recommendation, feel free to comment or leave it on the question and answer on Spotify. Thank you guys.